Over the course of a week, I hosted a TARDIS building competition to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers, and we ended up getting over 50 submissions, with some of the builds being absolutely insane. In this video, me, Corin, and the Ginger Doctor are going to be judging every single one of these builds from both parts of the contest. Be sure to join my Discord server to be notified of future events, and please consider subscribing if you enjoy, so that we can do more stuff like this in the future. Anyway, let's get on with the video. But wait! This video is sponsored by the join button. After staring at YouTube Studio for many hours, I finally found the channel memberships button, and so I enabled them. If you don't know, channel memberships are a bit like Twitch subs, where you pay monthly to get some cool perks, but also just to support me. These perks include badges in live chat and in the comments, custom emojis to use, early access to loads of my new videos, verbal shoutouts at the end of each video as well as your name on the screen, access to VIP sections of the Discord server, and even more. If you'd like to go one step further than just subscribing, then this is the best way to do so, but please don't feel pressured at all. If you'd like to become a channel member, then simply click the join button below. Anyway, I'm sure you're all dying to find out who won, so let's start with part 1. Part 1 of this competition was hosted on a server in the Dalek mod, and in this category alone we ended up getting over 30 builds, which is absolutely insane. From the moment it started, people flooded on and started building, and playing on the screen now is a time-lapse of the first couple of hours on the server. By the end of the first day, over 20 plots had already been claimed, lots of which included the beginnings of some very cool builds. Over the course of the week, more and more builds started appearing, and by this point, me and the rest of the judges realised that we would probably have a pretty big task on our hands judging all of them. At first, the plan for this video was to fly around on the server, look at every single build, and give it a score out of 10 each, meaning all TARDISes would end up with a score out of 30. However, because of the vast amount of submissions we received, we haven't been able to show the judging process of every single one in this video. Instead, here are the top 5 builds along with their place and scores. Coming in at number 5, we have the Structured Interior by The Veil. This got an overall score of 21.5 out of 30, and we really liked it. It features some pretty unique things like the shroom lights, which you don't often see in a build, and it also has quite a unique shape, what with the underbit as well. And with that, here are a few more shots of that TARDIS. Next up at number 4, we have the Solar TARDIS. This TARDIS was built by Red Earth 08 and it got an overall score of 22.5. So as you can see, this was very close, and we'll see that particularly in part 2, which we'll get to a little bit later. So personally, my favourite part about this is obviously the sky above. It's a really clever concept. I think what with the end rods and everything, and the planet, and the fact that it's so high up, it gives it a really nice 3D effect. It just looks really good when you're walking around under the TARDIS. Here's a couple more shots. And now we're into the top 3. So in third place, we have the Auxiliary TARDIS by, unsurprisingly, the Auxiliary. This got a score of 23.5. Once again, it's just another singular point up. This is quite how close it was. So this TARDIS looks really good. The colour palette is excellent, and the anvils look really good. It almost has a little bit of an 8th Doctor's rustic feel. However, it's also got some amazing redstone, and we saw a little bit of that in the Solar TARDIS, but this one really goes above and beyond, and the combination of that and the incredible colour palette and general build made it a real contender for those top places, which is why we decided to put it in third. And so here's a couple more angles. And now, just before first place, we have second, and that is the Sky interior by Sapphire Sky. So this got an overall score of 25. Con gave it a 7.5, Ginger gave it a 9, and then I gave it an 8.5. So this is a really, really good TARDIS. It has an excellent colour palette, what with all of the stripped wood and then the green terracotta. It looks really, really nice. And it also has some clever concepts, like the stone behind the glass sort of shows where it potentially could be. This one doesn't feature any redstone, but obviously as this is a building competition, we prioritised colour palette, shape and stuff like that over the redstone ability. However, we did factor in how much time people spent on redstone, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Here are a few more shots. And now for first place. The winning entry of the DT10 TARDIS Building Competition Part 1 is the Cathedral Fantastique TARDIS by Garatim and Rob Enks. I'm sorry, I've probably really messed up those names. But yeah, this is an absolutely amazing TARDIS. So this got a 9 from Corin, a 9 from Ginger, and a 10 from me, giving it a total score of 28 out of 30, which is absolutely incredible. So this TARDIS obviously looks really visually appealing. It looks absolutely incredible. There's so many little details that we could go over. However, something I really like about it as well is it utilizes the space really nicely. So everyone had a 48 by 48 block plot, and almost every single one of those 48 by 48 blocks are filled in this interior. What with it being corridors, under sections, the main section, the roof, absolutely every bit of space is utilized, and it looks really good. Speaking of corridors, as you can see, there's some amazing corridor designs, and there's also some very nice hidden areas. For example, another 5 rooms underneath the main console room, including one featuring a massive beacon, which sort of looks like a bit of a powerhouse for the TARDIS, and then also 4 other utility rooms. So obviously we were really impressed with this TARDIS. There's really not much that they could have improved on. And so Garatim and Rob Enks will be splitting their prizes between them, as it was very much a co-build. And they let us know that they don't mind too much about the prizes, so obviously anything that can't be split, I'm sure they'll work it out between them. And speaking of prizes, the second and third places will also be getting a custom role in my Discord server and VIP on Twitch, assuming they have a Twitch account. So yeah, if you got second or third in either part, and we'll get on to part 2 in just a minute, then be sure to DM me on Discord with the name of the role that you'd like and the colour, and we'll get that sorted as soon as possible. However, we're not quite done with part 1 yet. In fact, there are 2 honourable mentions. First of all, we've got the French TARDIS. So this is once again by Garatim and Rob Enks. However, this has some amazing features. So obviously build-wise, we did as judges really like it. It's very original, it's very unique, and it has some incredible redstone as well, including some amazing note block work. So I'm just going to shut up and let you listen to that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then, speaking of redstone, our second honourable mention is the red TARDIS by the Red Gamer. So in terms of build style, obviously this was a TARDIS building contest, and it didn't do too well in that department. However, it still looks really, really, really good, and it has some absolutely incredible redstone. And so once again, I'm just going to be quiet, because the sound effects and the visuals and everything is just absolutely amazing, and I'm just not going to talk over it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for part 1. A massive, massive congratulations to all of the top 5 places, and especially for Garatim and Rob Banks for making their winning entry, the Cathedral Fantastique. And I'm really, really sorry if your TARDIS didn't make it into the top 5. Obviously, as I said at the start of the video, we got over 30 entries, and it was really, really difficult to decide because so many of these builds were absolutely incredible. And the same applies for part 2, which we will get onto now. Part 2 was for all of those Bedrock Edition players, meaning it was on the latest version 1.19. However, if any Java players wanted to build in this newer version, then they could also participate, as all you had to do was submit screenshots in my Discord server. In total, we got 15 valid entries, and I realised I should probably point out at this point that there have been multiple submissions we haven't been able to judge. This is because part 1 players had to place a lime wool somewhere in their plot or around their plot for it to count, and part 2 competitors had to obviously not use any mods or additional software, so unfortunately some were disqualified. Once again, us judges gave each build a rating out of 10, but because it would take way too long to go through all 15, we are only showing the top 5, just like in part 1. So in 5th place we have the Survival in the Depths TARDIS by Gallifrey 14. So this was a really, really clever concept, which is why we decided to give it a 20.5 out of 30. Here are a few more screenshots. Next up, coming in at number 4, we have the Geodis TARDIS, or the Geodice, or I have no idea how to say that, by Radial Bog 9. So this got a 21 out of 30, and once again, this judging was really, really close. In fact, it was much, much closer than part 1. Almost all of these are separated by just 0.5 of a point, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, the concept of this one was really, really nice. It used a lot of amethyst, and the colour palette was really, really clever with basalt, smooth basalt, raw gold, black concrete, and grey concrete. It all worked really, really well. Next up, we have 3rd place, and that is the Sky Moth interior by, once again, Sapphire Sky, making another entry into the top 3. So this in total got a 21.5 out of 30. Now, I have to say it is fairly similar to the 2nd place entry from part 1. However, we decided to allow it purely on the basis that obviously all of the blocks are different, and we also analysed it a little bit further, and there are some key differences. So this colour palette is really, really nice. It's very, very bright, but it actually works incredibly well. There's a really good contrast between the blue and the red, and yeah, altogether it just works really, really well. And now for 2nd place, and that is the Nature TARDIS by Fugal8306. So this in total got a 7 from Corin, a 7 from Ginger, and an 8 from me, giving it a total score of 22. So once again, the concept was fantastic for this one, and we actually got a video to go with it, which means we can give you a couple more angles, obviously as provided by Fugel himself. So this was really nice, what with all of the mud blocks mixing in with the terracotta, which is a really nice combination. And I think the deep slate goes really nicely with the mud, and it's also got some other rooms, including enchanting setups and corridors and stuff like that. And now, finally, we have got first place, and the winning TARDIS for part 2 of the DT10 TARDIS building competition is the Skulk in Space TARDIS by Mystery X. So this got a 7 from Corin, a 9 from Ginger, and an 8 from me, giving a total incredible score of 24 out of 30. So this was a really nice TARDIS. It showcased a lot of the new 1.19 features, but not only is the build really good, but the sound design is amazing as well. So obviously players did not have access to command blocks, and the way that Mystery X approached this was really clever. So once again, I'm going to be quiet and let you watch the parts of the video that showcase this sound design. So there we go, that's almost it for part 2. However, once again there is an honourable mention, and this goes to the Energised Crystal TARDIS by AlecCraft01. So the reason I wanted to give this an honourable mention is because it very nearly made our top 5, and I really like what they've done with the underbit right here. So there is an incredible use of the various different types of glass as well as ice, and it just creates this incredible effect which I have never really seen before, and I think it looks really good. So there we go, that is it for this TARDIS competition. That is all of the judging, and just like with part 1, I'm really sorry if your TARDIS didn't make it into the top 5 of part 2. We've had a really tough time judging all of these, and there were some really tough contenders, but once again, 2nd and 3rd places will be getting a custom role in the Discord, so Fugel8306 and Sapphire Sky, as well as the auxiliary from part 1 of the competition, please DM me to receive those. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, as well as the entire contest, and sorry it's taken so long to release the results. The judging took a really long time to complete, and I've been pretty busy in real life as well. A massive congratulations to Garatim and Rob Banks for winning part 1, and to Mystery X for winning part 2. All 3 of you will be DM'd in the next day or so to sort out prizes, which includes a free 1-month server thanks to ConquerHost, which I've provided a link to in the description. They are a fantastic server hosting company which I actually used for this competition, so I'd highly recommend checking them out. Both winners will be getting an Iron Plan monthly Java Edition server, which includes 4,096 megabytes of RAM, 40,960 megabytes of storage, loads of backups, a database, extra ports, and so much more. One of which has actually been provided by the server owner himself, so thank you so much for that. Once you click the link in the description, it's really easy to set up an account, and once you've done that, all you need to do is go to billing in the left hand corner, and then just choose your server plan. Speaking of the server, there is a world download also in the description of the entirety of part 1 of the contest, just in case you're interested or would like to take a look at all of the builds. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like or comment, subscribe if you're new, and consider becoming a channel member too using the join button below. Anyway, I've been DT10, and I will see you in the next video.